Last week we were talking about relationships, and we did a lot about how to not act in a relationship. We talked about the signs, the bad signs, and the bad habits that people exhibit that could damage their relationships. Now, today, I want to focus on how to get out of a toxic relationship. This for me is a very important conversation, and I need you to please like and share this broadcast. Share on all your platforms that you have so that more people can learn from what we have to discuss today. So, like I said, we're looking at how to get out of a toxic relationship. Realize, first of all, that a toxic relationship could even be in a workplace. A workplace environment can become toxic. So it's not just about your emotional attachment to either a man or a woman or to your spouse, but also it can be based on a workplace relationship. Okay, it can also be based on even a church or a spiritual place relationship. So basically, it is any relationship that we have or that you may have that is part of your life. They can, at the long run, become toxic. And when that begins to happen, oftentimes people either stay too long in that situation and don't leave on time. And sometimes, even when they leave when they've been damaged beyond repairs. They leave when the damage has become really, really bad. So, the idea today is to help you identify once it becomes toxic and teach you how to live and how to walk away and retain your sanity. I want to establish, first of all, that emotional issues can lead to mental issues. An emotional problem can lead to a mental health issue. So it is advisable that you do all you can to avoid emotional problems so that you can watch out for your mental health. Because for me, your mental health is the most important thing. Okay, you must do all you can to protect your mental health. Okay, so let's start with a little definition. Someone asked me, how do I know that my relationship is toxic? How do I identify that I am in a toxic situation or in a toxic relationship? So I'll quickly say this evening. When a relationship becomes unhealthy, when it becomes unhealthy and detrimental, when the behavior being exhibited is unhealthy and detrimental, and it negatively impacts one or both partners. It negatively impacts one or both partners emotionally or physically. Now, it means that two people can be toxic to themselves at the same time. I want to establish that. Okay, so sometimes a woman says, my husband is toxic or my spouse is toxic. Oftentimes, when we begin to analyze the situation, we realize that both parties are actually toxic. Okay, so the man is suffering from the spouse's toxic behavior, vice versa. Okay, so it means that two people can actually be toxic. They can actually be harmful to each other. Okay, their behavior can be equally to each other. So being toxic or toxicity isn't one-sided most times. It can be both parties in that relationship. Okay, so understand that once it becomes unhealthy, and detrimental, and it negatively impacts one or both parties. It impacts your emotions or your physical well-being. You are in a toxic situation. A toxic situation can affect your physical health. It can affect your mental health. Okay, so sometimes it's not just about your mental well-being, it can also be about your physical well-being. Okay, so once that is being affected, you are most likely in a very, very toxic relationship. Okay, now some signs or some things that people do when that will help you identify that you have found yourself in a toxic situation are the following signs. Okay, the first one is manipulation. When your partner is toxic, they are manipulative. They manipulate you. They they use you. Okay, so when you feel manipulated, you are made to do something you would not have done necessarily, and this thing you have agreed to now do is not even for your own betterment or well-being. Okay, it is just to please your partner. You are most likely treading in a toxic relationship. Okay, so manipulation is one, control is another. Control is another. No partner should control the other. It's not a relationship that demands control. Once one person has unusual control over the other, it can become a problem. Okay, and another thing I want to talk about is emotional abuse. So you look at manipulation, you look at control, and emotional abuse. Once these things are present, you are in a toxic relationship and you need to do something about it.